All right, going for part 2 of the Unit 8 study guide. We're going to start with sine, cosine, and tangent. All right, remember that the mnemonic for sine, cosine, and tangent is SOHCAHTOA, and that will help you remember what pieces go with which part of the trig. SOHCAHTOA. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. Tangent is opposite over adjacent. So in order to do this, you have to have all three sides of the right triangle. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to use the Pythagorean theorem to find QR. So I'm going to do, since QR is the hypotenuse, I'm going to add, it's the long side. So I'm going to do 16 squared plus 30 squared equals C squared. Right? 16 squared plus 30 squared is 1156. And then we take the square root of that, and we get 34. So C is equal to 34. Now we can do our sine, cosine, and tangent in simplest form. And thankfully, this calculator makes it easy for us to do simplest form. So remember, sine is the opposite over the adjacent, and we're talking about angle Q here. We're talking about angle Q. So for angle Q, the opposite side is 30, and the hypotenuse is 34. So sine is opposite over hypotenuse, 30 over 34. So we go to our calculator, put in our fraction, 30 over 34, and hit enter. So 15 over 17 is our reduced fraction there. What will cosine be in reduced form? Hopefully you see that cosine Q will be adjacent over hypotenuse, which is 16 over 34, which is 8 over 17. Finally, what is tangent Q? Hopefully you said opposite over adjacent is 15 over 8 in simplest form. Now let's talk about angle R. So sine R is right there. So what will sine R be? Now we're changing angles. So opposite over hypotenuse. Hopefully you put 8 over 17 there. All right, cosine R would be adjacent over hypotenuse. All right, that one would be 15 over 17. And then tan of R would be opposite over adjacent. So 8 over 15. All right, now let's see if we can figure out some of this other stuff, okay? So we are given angle 54 here, and we're looking for x. So remember, x is the opposite side. 9 is the adjacent side. So x is the opposite, 9 is the adjacent. Since we have opposite and adjacent, we're going to use tangent. So tan 54 equals opposite over adjacent, x over 9. Now, when x is on the top, we multiply. So x is going to equal 9 times tan 54. And we're going to the nearest tenth, which is 1 decimal place. 9 times tan 54. And that gives us 12.4. Go ahead and find x for number 19 now. So they gave us angle 46 here, angle 46. 24 is the opposite side. X is the hypotenuse, so hopefully you used sine. So sine 46 equals opposite over hypotenuse, 24 over x. When x is on the bottom, we divide. So x equals 24 divided by sine 46. 24 divided by sine 46. So 33.4 for x. All right. Let's do it again in number 20. Go ahead and find x for number 20 now. So this time the angle they gave us was 27 degrees right there. 13 is the opposite side. X is the adjacent side, so hopefully you used tangent. So tan 27 equals opposite over adjacent, 13 over x. All right, and so x equals 13 divided by tan 27. So 25.5 for x. All right, go ahead and find x for 21 now. So they gave us angle 35. X is the adjacent side for this angle. 21 is the hypotenuse. So hopefully we used cosine. So cosine of 35 degrees equals adjacent over hypotenuse, x over 21. When x is on top, we multiply. So x equals 21 times cosine 35. So 17.2 for x. All right, now let's go to 22. 22 is where we're going to find the missing angle now. So this is where we use that inverse trig. Remember, angles are for inverse. Angles are for inverse. All right. So this is our angle. 23 is the opposite side. 24 is the hypotenuse. So we're going to use inverse sine. So x equals inverse sine opposite over hypotenuse, 23 over 24. So we use inverse sine here. So we're going to push second sine to get that inverse sine, 23 over 24. So this angle is 73.4 degrees. All right, go ahead and find the angle in number 23 now. All right, so that's our angle right there. 10 is the opposite side. 13 is the adjacent side, so hopefully we used inverse tangent. So x equals tan inverse of opposite over adjacent, 10 over 13. Tan inverse of 10 over 13. And that's 37.6 degrees. All right, 24, go ahead and find angle x in 24 now. So this angle x here, 30 is the opposite side, 39 is the hypotenuse. So we're using inverse sine. So x equals inverse sine of opposite over hypotenuse, which is 30 over 39. So we inverse sine of 30 over 39. So 50.3 degrees for this angle. All right, finally, go ahead and find the angle for 25 now. So this angle x right here, 17 is the adjacent side, 18 is the hypotenuse, so inverse cosine. So x equals inverse cosine of adjacent over hypotenuse, so 17 over 18. So we inverse cosine 17 over 18, and that angle is 19.2 degrees. All right, last page, page 25. These are our word problems. This is our angle of elevation and depression. The town park, and I'm always going to start with the same type of triangle. The town park does an outdoor movie every Saturday night during the summer on a large screen. Kate is sitting 36 feet from the base. From the base means bottom. Watching a movie with her family. The angle of elevation is 24 degrees. Always that right there, 24 degrees. How tall is the movie screen? Tall means tall side. That's right there. So we know that x is the opposite side. 36 is the adjacent side, so we're using tangent. So tan 24 equals x over 36. Since x is on top, we're multiplying. So So x equals 36 times tan 24. 36 times tan 24. 16.0 feet tall. All right, let's get this picture drawn for number 27, and then you guys will solve from there. So we draw our picture, always the same triangle. Elijah is looking up to the top of the Washington Monument. If the monument is 555 feet tall and the angle of elevation, so the monument is 555 feet tall, and the angle of elevation from the point of the ground where Elijah is standing is 74 degrees. How far is he standing from the base? That's the bottom. Go ahead and solve for x now. All right, solving for x here. 55 is our opposite side. X is our adjacent side. So we're going to use tangent. So tan 74 equals 555 over x. When x is on the bottom, we divide. So x equals 555 divided by tan 74. 555 over tan 74, 159.1 feet. All right. I'll help you draw the picture for 28, but 29 and 30, you're going to be on your own drawing these pictures. For 28, while parasailing, let's go ahead and draw our triangle. Same triangle every single time. While parasailing, Ryan spots a dolphin in the water below. Ryan is 228 feet above the water, 228 feet above the water, and the angle of depression to the dolphin is 15 degrees. What is the horizontal distance? Horizontal distance is the bottom, so that's that piece right there. Go ahead and solve for x now. So 228 is the opposite side, x is the adjacent side, so we're using tangent. So tan of 15 equals opposite over adjacent. 228 over x. When x is on the bottom, we divide. So x is equal to 228 over tan 15. 228 over tan 15. 850.9 feet. 850.9 feet. All right. On 29, you are all on your own. Go ahead, draw that picture and solve for how far away the airplane is from the control tower. Solve for that now. Okay, I'm always going to draw my triangle. The angle of depression from the airplane is 56 degrees, always the same angle. The tower is 320 feet tall, and the airplane is flying at an altitude of 7,450 feet. So the difference between those two is going to be how tall this is. So 7,450 minus 320 is 7,130. So this should be 7,130 feet. How far is the airplane from the control tower? If this is the control tower and this is the airplane. All right. So to find this, 7,130 is the opposite side. X is the hypotenuse. So we're using sine. So sine 56 equals 7,130 over x. To find x, we divide. So x equals 7,130 over sine 56. 7,130 divided by sine 56 is 8,600.3 feet. All right, last but not least, you have to do 30 all on your own. Draw your picture and solve for the angle of depression. So we're solving for the angle here. Same triangle as always. Find the angle, so our angle is x. from the top of a lighthouse, 275 feet above the water, 275 feet above the water, to a boat 1,324 feet offshore. All right, so 275 is the opposite side, 1,324 is the adjacent side, so we're using tangent. So tan x equals opposite 275 over adjacent 1,324. We're going to use inverse tan, so x equals inverse tan of 275 over 1,324. Inverse tan of 275 over 1,324. The angle is 11.7 degrees. All right, happy studying for your test. Have a great Red Devil day.